Welcome to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'm your host, Jackie Hermans. So things have been opening up and they're going to continue to open up. Yay! Things are slowly getting back to normal. Now, let's talk about this show. Very exciting show. We're going to be talking about the Durham Region International Film Festival, talking to the board of directors about the exciting new call for submissions. We're also going to be talking to Peter Finley, who is actually one of the winners, one of the regional winners from the Durham Region International Film Festival from 2020, and talking to Elizabeth LaBelle from the Humane Society. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
When an impaired driver killed my brother DJ, my life changed forever. Life has changed for all of us during the pandemic, and many people are turning to alcohol and drugs to cope. Even though most of us are staying home more, police across Ontario are seeing an alarming increase in impaired driving and the horrible devastation that goes with it. Now, more than ever, we need your commitment to never drive impaired and to encourage all of your family and friends to do the same. Together, we can save lives.
Hey, what's good, everybody? I'm Karim Grant, a former professional football player. Do you want to know what current and former professional athletes are up to these days? Catch the Players Corner with Karim Grant exclusively on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So with me now on the show is Greg Murphy, who is the director of, who's the director of the Durham Region Film Festival, and it's also known as DRIFF. Am I correct there? DRIFF?
That's right. It's an acronym. So DRIFF, Durham Region International Film Festival. And I'm the chair of a board of directors. I'm not the director. And director is a funny term to use in a film festival because people assume that you produce films or that perhaps you select them, and I don't do any of that. I just have to stay out of the way.
Okay. Let everyone else do their thing. So this is very exciting. It's time to receive some new submissions this year. Now, I am new to this film festival, and I'm sure there's other viewers out here that might not even know anything about it. So let's start at the basics. So with the Durham Region Film Festival, what type of submissions are you looking for this year? Do you have different themes every year, or how does that work?
Well, we think about themes, but ultimately we look at, we have a film programming director, and he'll look through the films and he'll see that they seem to cluster in different groups. And he'll have in mind, for instance, an idea that he'll make something that looks thematic or something that looks attractive as a consistent way of looking at the grouping of films that he gets. And then he'll portion them. For instance, we've had a day where we do international films, and our director he interviews the directors of the films live, so people can watch the films. Then they can come in, they can hear the directors talk about how they were made, and it's an international day, and we do it at the college because we have the facilities to do that. And we'll have another day where, for instance, we did it was quite a wonderful I guess themed drive-in series that we did last year called Shifting the Narrative. And by shifting the narrative, it allowed people who don't normally have their voices heard unfiltered a chance to speak about their narratives in their voices. So we had an evening that was Indigenous. We had another one which dealt with LGBTQ issues. We had one that was a biracial immigrant family. We had one that was BIPOC, but really centered on the Jamaican community in Durham Region. And each of those film evenings, it was somebody from that community presenting a film that was produced by that community. So the narrative then is unfiltered. It's not made for a standard Eurocentric white audience. It's not made by a Eurocentric white audience about a marginalized group. It comes from within that culture using their languages and themes and images, and it allows a voice that ought to be heard. They are the people within our community, and we have the chance at Drift to put them forward and say, these are our neighbors, and this is how they speak about their issues and about where they come from.
Very cool.
It is very cool, actually.
This might be a very odd question, and we can just bypass it if let's say you don't feel comfortable or don't even know how to answer it, let's say. So okay. I'm an empath, and I feel energy. And then also when you think about even the different, like the Chinese years, I think are we in a metal monkey or something now? So something like that. The overall energy can be different every year. And so I'm wondering, as you get submissions each year, do you notice a different energy, a different quality, even though there's different themes? Is there a similar quality each year in what you're getting within the submissions?
Well, the man who does all of this receives the submissions, Kirk Cooper. He could tell you better than I. He's not available right now, but I can take a stab at it. But it's definitely an underinformed opinion. But I think that as this festival becomes more widely known, we get more submissions, and those submissions, generally speaking, run the full range, but we select from, or we cull the best of them. So we get more better films as we go through, and we get more people from Durham region. We get more people who come from, I guess, invisible or underrepresented groups submitting films. And so I think that our festival as we go forward is more representative of Durham region, and it's more representative of the Canadian population in general. So I would say from 2 points of view, they're better. And that would include things like being more energetic, more insightful, better made, and so on. Okay. We've got an interesting thing. In order to promote filmmaking, we are about to announce, and this is never before been heard in public airwaves, that we're going to actually support an emerging filmmaker with Drift. So we are going to award $30,000 to a Durham region filmmaker to produce a short film. And we will run a trailer at our drive-in this summer, and we'll feature it in our festival in the fall.
Beautiful. So if people want to submit, we only have about 30 seconds in here. How do they do that?
They submit through Film Freeway, and the deadline is July 15th. So that is coming up. I know it doesn't sound like it when you're in this kind of weather, but July is not that far away. So if you're a filmmaker, that's no time at all. So please get your film submissions together. Look on Film Freeway. You can go to drift.ca and get all sorts of details on this.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show.
It was a pleasure being on the show. Thank you for your wonderful hospitality. It was nice to be hospitalized.
Well, I look forward to seeing all these films. So thank you. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Thank you.
Your visit isn't really necessary.
I'll judge for myself.
I know you're an MP, Miss McPhail, but a woman has never...
I am not leaving till I do. How can such a society be called civilized? If those appalling conditions don't change, that prison will explode!
Perhaps our lone lady member is too fragile to know what is normal in a prison.
Is this normal?
Her courage would lead to the overhaul of the entire Canadian penal system. Agnes McPhail, Canada's first woman MP.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So now with me on the show is Peter Finley, who is the director, filmmaker, and whose film had won for the 2020 Durham Region International Film Festival. Peter, did I get that right?
I won the best regional film, but I'll take whatever kudos you're willing to throw at me.
Okay. So the film that you submitted is called Company Town, right? Company Town. Can you give us a brief summary about what that's about?
Yeah, well, it's about the closure of the GM plant in 2019, which was announced the previous year, 2018. And I was working at Durham College, teaching in the film production program, and I heard about the closure of the plant, and I would drive by it, routinely on the way to work, and I would sort of cast a glance over at it, and I wondered, what's going on inside that plant now that, more than 5,000 workers were going to be, essentially out of work after over 100 years of continuous automobile production in Oshawa, and sort of what the human impact of that would be. Because, my feeling is that when economic stories are told in the media, generally they're told from a macro perspective. And, you see the big numbers and you kind of go, oh, that's terrible. And then you move on to the other news of the day, And I wanted to, as much as possible, immerse myself with my filmmaking team inside the process of the year of the moving towards the closure of the plant by following the union, which was obviously trying to keep the plant open. So that's kind of the story. It's about how the community was trying to coalesce through the union to fight to keep the plant open.
Okay, so Peter, we're going to go to the trailer of your film right now.
They are not closing our damn plant without one hell of a fight. We're 8 months into this, and nothing's been done. Sisters and brothers, stay!
I think corporations need to be loyal to the communities that support them because the community supports them.
General Motors has always been greedy. What's a surprise is the way we were treated by our union. There was a hell of a lot more that they could have done for us.
I don't know what replaces those jobs, and I really do not see it getting better for a long time.
A just transition means environmental justice. It means social justice and economic justice. It means leaving no community or worker behind while creating a sustainable future.
They lied to us and they betrayed us.
Okay, so thank you so much. That was a wonderful trailer, and it definitely enticed me to want to see more. So, how did you go about seeking, I guess, getting the information from the community, getting the perspective from the community? Were you open at the beginning, deciding, okay, am I gonna be talking to some of the hires up and focus there, or was it immediately wanting to focus on the impact of the workers?
Well, I knew going into the production of the film, or even before when I started the research, that it was going to be a very emotional, fraught period in the lives of the workers who were being impacted. Obviously, they were all losing their jobs in one fell swoop. So what I did was I approached the local union hall, the president of the hall, and asked him what he thought about the idea of being involved in a film, because it's a very dark chapter in the union's history, thinking that they're going to be shut down for good. So I made sort of an approach to the president there. He was very receptive. At that point, they still felt that there was a possibility that they were going to be able to keep the plant open. And I kind of used my connections with the president there, who's a great guy, to work my way up to the national level. Because in order to really, get the green light to follow a union team through an intense negotiation process, you need to have the buy-in from the national office. So I went straight to Jerry Dias, who's the national president of Unifor. And I met Jerry on a dark and stormy day, literally a month after they announced the plant was being closed. And he was pretty much on board from the get-go. So once I had Jerry's authorization, most doors were open to me, and I kind of worked backwards from there. Then I went back to the local, and I got names of workers, and I started to build my network of connections in the community that way.
Now, making a documentary and doing this particular film, was there one thing that you really learned as a filmmaker that you're taking and moving forward?
Yeah, well, I think it was the first time, and I'm a veteran filmmaker. I was a producer at the CBC for 10 years. I've been working independently for the last 20 years with my own production company. What it really impressed me was the devastating trauma of job loss, just how personal that becomes and how it sort of reverberates through an entire community when we're talking about large scale job loss there. I'd never seen that kind of sort of group trauma before. And I've done all sorts of stuff, but to see, 5,000 workers be, turfed out to the curb, as they say, and the ripple effect that has in every aspect of the community life is really quite impactful. And I think the film captures that sense of loss and trauma and disillusionment for many of the workers who felt that they were betrayed.
Okay, wow. I'm really grateful that you're able to share their story, because I think learning from other people's trauma can really help us to build more compassion as a society, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Compassion for ourselves, compassion for the people around us. And I think our corporations need to be increasing their compassion and understanding and how they are making an impact, not only on individuals, but on communities.
Yeah. Well, as you probably know, GM reopened the plant in the last year, so they're back in production. Again, it's a precarious industry. It could be closed yet again. But, through the activism of the union and a lot of rank and file, involvement, it turned out to be not such a bad story. It's to be continued.
And I bet your story, or you sharing the story, has created an impact on this present happenings with GM and future. So I think that's pretty cool.
I would hope so.
Yeah, thank you. Peter, it's been very cool to have you on the show, and look forward to maybe having you again in some of your future films.
Great, thank you.
We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Yo. Yep. Okay, I'll be there.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen for Photos and Travel, where we bring the world to your doorstep. Traveling during this pandemic is virtually at a standstill. However, thanks to Rogers and YouTube, my new show Photos and Travel is heading into its second season. Join me for a new episode every month when we get together and explore exotic locales around the world. Check local listings for dates and times, or search Jonathan Van Bilsen's Photos and Travel on YouTube.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So Elizabeth LaBelle is on the show, the Durham Humane Society. Is my brain like totally here today? Anyway, Elizabeth, it's great to see you. I love having you on the show, and you have Florence with you.
Yeah, this is Florence. Florence is a 1-year-old Tuxedo Cat. She is a very sweet girl, and she's just ready to find her forever home.
Oh, tell me about Florence. So what is her character like?
She is a cuddle bug. She's very playful still. She's very young. She's, like I said, she's only a year old. She loves pets. She loves people. She loves to be around you. She comes right over and wants her little nose scratched. And she's just the sweetest little nugget.
Oh, I love that nugget. So where did Florence come from? What's her background?
Yeah, so Florence came to us after being found by a member of the public. They'd had her in their home for quite some time, and she just wasn't, I guess, they weren't able to keep her any longer. And so she came to us, and it's been great for her. She's been able to get the medical care that she needed. She got vaccinated. She just recently got spayed, so she won't be able to have any more babies or any babies at all in that case, because she's very young. And now she's ready to find her forever home.
Oh, that's amazing. So she's a Tuxedo Cat, and that's basically because the black and the white going on. Does she have like a white chest?
She does have a white chest.
No actual bow tie?
No actual bow tie. Little white paws. She's got white right under her chin, which is beautiful. And she's got these bright green eyes. They are literally to die for.
Oh, wow. You know what? I just want to share with everyone what is so incredibly exciting, and it makes me feel so good that we can do this, is that all the cats that have been on Uxbridge Scugog Life that have been featured up for adoption, all of them have been adopted up until now, right?
They have, yeah. Every single one of them have gone home. Lion went home. Diamond went home. Who else have we had? I think we had, did we have Gizmo or Molly? We had a few of them, and they've all got adopted.
So good. So exciting. So just for people who are maybe seeing an episode with you for the first time, how do people apply to adopt one of your lovely cats, or maybe the dogs that come in? What's the process for them?
Yeah, so right now our adoption process is to have you fill out an application through our website. It's actually a fillable form through our website, so it's very easy. You fill that out, email it in to us with the name of the animal that you're interested in adopting, and then we will review it to make sure that you and the animal that you'd like to be paired with are a good fit for each other. We always just want to make sure that when we're setting people up for adoption, that we're setting them up for success. We're giving them an animal that will fit into the lifestyle that they have, or that will blend well with the people in the home. Because you get the most successful adoptions in those circumstances. So we always want to make sure that everyone is going to thrive in every circumstance.
Now, a while ago, I have 2 dogs and a cat, but a while ago, before I have all the animals that I had, I was looking to adopt. And I found that one of the questions that came up in the different adoption processes was, are you aware how much food is going to cost each month and what medical bills might be per year? So is that one of your recommendations, is educating yourself about those fees and what it means to be a pet owner, what's involved before you even start going through the adoption process?
Absolutely. If you haven't owned an animal before, there are lots of ways to get that kind of information, whether it be that you do your own research first. Calling a vet clinic, any vet clinic at all, is going to be useful to you because you really get an idea of getting those vaccines, how much it's going to cost, how much end-of-life care costs, because that can be quite financially straining. And you want to make sure that you have all of that set up for yourself before bringing an animal into the home, because truly at the end of the day, when you're stressed out because something's wrong with your pet, or you've got to take them to the vet, you want to make sure that financials aren't the reason that you aren't able to just focus on the pet. You want to be able to spend all your time focusing on them and not the costs at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. Because they end up becoming one of your family members, and
Absolutely.
You make sure that you're able to care for them no matter what happens, right?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, that care can be quite costly. It's very different than Unfortunately for people, our healthcare, especially in Canada, we're very lucky it's covered. But I know for animals, it can be quite costly. And so bringing on a new pet is something that financially you have to make sure that you're prepared for.
Right. Sometimes you don't even know, especially the really young ones. They might end up having food sensitivities. So then you end up having to make your own food or get the super expensive kind. And so you have to be prepared to, just like you would for yourself, get the multivitamins that you need, change your diets. You have to be prepared to be able to do that for your pets too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Elizabeth, so wonderful to have you on the show. And Florence, let's find you your home. And if you're watching this episode, know someone that's looking for a super cuddly young cat, that Florence might be the one to make their home feel complete.
We hope so.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And to everyone else out there, we'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Hey, I'm Chef Corey Dern, host of a show on Rogers TV Georgina called Cooking with Corey. Join me bi-weekly for brand new episodes where I teach you not only what to cook, but how to cook. The only thing missing is smell-o-vision. That's Cooking with Corey right here on Rogers TV Georgina.
Hi, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Allison.
Coming up on the next parenting show, we talk about how to prevent or at least have a good fight during the pandemic.
Turns out not all conflict is bad. We'll show you how.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So, another show. That's a wrap. Very excited about the Durham Region International Film Festival. You still have time to get your film together. Submissions are due in July. It is coming up fast and furiously, but you can get those creative juices going and start getting that film together. And if you want to adopt a pet, make sure you contact the Durham Humane Society. And we'll be back next week for more on Uxbridge Scugog Life. Bye.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
The world's most famous Canadian, Grey Owl, just back from a triumphant British tour, is to be a reluctant guest at a gathering of First Nations.
Archie, you may not realize this, but right now you are the most famous Red Indian in the world. These are your people. You have to be there. Come on, Harold, let's go.
Sure, I'm sure. His name is Archie Bellini, and if he's a Red Indian, I'm the king of China.
It is an honor to meet the man called Grey Owl, who has brought much respect for our people.